for new events. So while we've got a minute here, let's take a quick second and let's go through two pieces of content. So number one, uh, let's go look at the blog post. Let's pull that up. News. Um, State of the game from September. Yeah, so here's the news post. Let's start with this. So this came out just the other day. What was this? Friday, Thursday night, maybe? Uh, Maybe it was after I finished my stream on Thursday. Oh, I think it's dated Thursday, but I think they actually didn't release it till Friday because they always write stuff up a day or two in advance, which sometimes that this is a bit of a tell because it's like, oh, this came out Friday morning, but then you see this date and you're like, no, they published this on Thursday. They just didn't make it live to the public until Friday. So here you go. So here's GM update from Connor, which is what they hope will become a regular series. Also noted on the t-shirt, I guess people didn't like his t-shirt, so he took notes about that he'll be wearing something different in future videos. I think a jacket and tie would be nice. Can we get him doing something like that? Maybe I think a short sleeve shirt with a bow tie and a sport coat, I think would look perfect. If they write it up a few days in advance, you think they'd proofread it? That's the sad part, right? Is that they're dated in advance. It means clearly this was done the day before, but nobody took the 3 minutes sometimes to proofread some of the stuff to make sure that, spelling was right and content was right. Maybe a cardigan. That might look a little too Mr. Rogers here in the US if he was doing that. Hello, friends. Won't you be my gamer? Yeah. All right. So trying to get content right for every level. They're changing course. They're trying to get more basic detail for the G3 and the G4 players. September update starts at Ops 45. So anyone below Ops 45 is not going to be accessing the new content in September, this month here. This month's arc that launches on Tuesday is basically Ops 45 and up. So you can start it, but you're really not taking value of it or having a good experience with it until the 50s. So if you're in your 40s, you got trouble right here in River City. And when you get to the 50s, well, then you'll start to get the arc, the mechanic, the function of it will start to get a little more manageable. So starting in September, Battle Pass for G3 is not going to give out choice reward tokens anymore. Now everybody was like, what's that? They're not giving G3 any rewards anymore? It's like, that's not what they said. They just said they're not giving you the choice rewards anymore. Most likely, G3 here players are just going to go back to getting what they were getting. You'd have 4 bundles that had par steel and ore in them, and then 3 bundles that had crystal and gas and stuff in the other ones, sprinkled throughout the different days, along with some of the other specialty currencies that they like to throw in there and mix in there as well, like Syndicate XP or any of the other specialty currency stuff. They're just trying to make the path progression more straightforward for newer players, probably giving them less choices, less choice fatigue, decision fatigue, especially if newer players are having an issue with they don't know what to spend. What do I spend? Do I want to get crystal? Do I want to guess? What am I going to need more of? Maybe those players are holding on to those tokens and then not realizing like, hey, the store expired and now you got nothing. So they're basically just taking that extra choice feature away. Is it the best? It's going to depend on your point of view. If you're someone who's effectively managing your choice tokens, it's going to feel like they're taking something away from you. If you're someone who is sort of struggling with that decision on what to spend it on every month, or possibly not spending it at all and missing out on a whole month worth of rewards, this is going to feel like a win. Like, oh, thank God, it's one less thing I have to worry about. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. But for everybody else, level 40 and above, you're still getting your choice tokens. It's exactly the same thing. So targeted events and rewards around the Reliant and Franklin, depending on your level. These will replace regular ARC events with more relevant activities for 20 to 44 players. I'd love to know how they plan on doing that because I don't know if they're aware of this, but even though you can source the USS Reliant at Ops 26, You can't kill any of the dang hostiles that you need to get the loot at Ops 26. They're just too dang strong. You don't have the ships, you don't have the officers. So having a targeted event for players in their mid 20s to use their Reliant and go kill the new Exile augments, it's not going to work very well. Just, you know, just putting that out there. Just give yourself a minute to think about that. September and October, special event series asking players to engage with grade relevant ships. Well, that's interesting. So, in the in between arc time, you'll be using your actual relevant ships for your ops level reward. If you have prior progress, you'll get rewards, but it also might be new opportunities for some of the specialty ships, right? You're going to have better opportunities to source the blueprints for those, or if you already have the ships, maybe you can source the upgrade materials so you can catch those specialty ships up faster. I know a lot of players, don't like to move up ops levels until they feel like their ships are caught up, and especially the ships that are ops locked. If I'm, why am I going to, I'm ops locked at level 30 on this particular, like say the Franklin or something like that. Why am I going to move to 31 or 32 where I'm now going to have to use my Franklin to hit higher level hostiles, but I don't have enough of the material saved up that I'm going to be able to even tier up the ship appropriately for breaking that ops lock? I'll just stay here where it's easier until I accumulate enough materials and then move up. Hopefully, these events are going to help accelerate that process more than what the archives have done so far to make those ships cost less materials to upgrade so they can upgrade faster because, again, you're outpacing those ships so much faster. You're moving through the 20s and the 30s very quickly these days with just the amount of resources that are being dumped into the economy and all of the new efficiencies that they have, which will lead us into the other point here in a minute with the efficiency aspect of it. But they still haven't done my idea with Cosmic Cleanup, making that instead of being 10 blueprints per claim, make it 25. It's only been 2 years. Maybe they'll get around to making that change. Or maybe this event here will just help source the blueprints for those ships even faster than Cosmic Cleanup, and therefore it'll solve the problem through a different direction. First Wave's wondering, are they meaning they're meaning the material choice reward tokens in the battle pass? That's what they're talking about. Not the officer token, depot tokens. And it's only for G3. Only for players level 20 to 39 are going to have just, you probably get your regular materials instead of getting your choice token. Just use Voyager to do the Franklin loop. You got to get into your 30s before that becomes a thing. Same thing with the Vindicator, right? If you're in your 20s and going to your level 30s for the nukes, come on. You don't have those ships yet. You're still waiting for them. Still working on them. You'll get there eventually, but a lot of people like to have that stuff, especially newer players to the game who don't know as much as those of us who've been playing for 4 or 5 years. They don't watch YouTube videos. They're not really on the Discord. They're just fumbling their way through it. Or stumbling their way through it. Well, you might be fumbling a little bit too. But they want those players to move faster because they want to get through that early content all the more quickly. All right, so here's what we got coming in September. 20 to 44, they'll have basically they're going to have specialty events because the new content's not designed for them. They'll have other side events that'll have them using lower grade ships and materials to at least get their battle pass and stuff done. And then here's what we've got here. 40 to 50 is kind of the sweet spot with the new content, and 51 plus, well, they're not really going to get any new updates until November. Now, what would be coming in November that Ops 51 plus players might be interested in? What would be coming in November that would be specifically a benefit or targeted towards higher ops level players? Dun dun dun. Same time, we're making changes for G5 plus players, reducing event bloat and tightening event structures. Okay, so it'll be a more focused theme. So not as many just random sporadic events. Okay. Deeper engagement through heroics and ticketed events. Now that'll be interesting to see if they're changing the payouts for those or what they're doing here. to scale this stuff up appropriately. Because as it stands right now, yeah, ticket events have become pretty stale, and heroic events have gotten a little too heroic. And I think players recognize that and just are not interested in spending for those types of things. May also notice bigger emphasis on alliance activities. Okay, so more alliancey type stuff. Now, whether that's going to be just more alliance armada, group armada, formation armada type stuff where you have to get large numbers of your people together to do stuff, or if it'll just mean more alliance milestone type events where it's, number of people completing an SMS event like we have going on right now with the Star Trek Day stuff. This particular event over, wrong tab, over here, you have our Star Trek Day events, right? And there is an alliance milestone, which is just number of people finishing the SMS. Get 120 points over the 2 or 3 days, which is 40 people a day, which a lot of alliances should be able to accomplish, and get yourself a benefit. If there's more of these types of events, I think people are going to be okay. If there's more ALB type events, well, we tend to know that participation in these is usually pretty consistent, consistently good or consistently bad, depending on your alliance and the actual event. And, typically the top 5, the top 10 alliances in these ALBs don't change from week to week. The order might change a little bit, who's 1, who's 2, but for the most part, it's the same. The alliances that have the most players tend to just score the highest in ALB events because, well, that's just math. So let's go back to the board here. Want you to be playing with your alliance and feel rewarding and full of opportunities. So these are the first steps toward the goal. So we're going to have a rollout of alliance tagging to help make finding the right alliance easier. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. How they're going to tag alliances, and you can be like, oh, we're a competitive alliance, we're a new player alliance, and maybe that'll help people sort of identify what their goal. Like we're a casual group of players. We're a more competitive alliance, so people will know, like, if I join you, I have to know what expectations are going to be set, because alliances don't always just put that in their own little Discord messaging or their in-game little profile. USS Vengeance. Well, for those 70 plus players, they basically have realized that the Vengeance is getting killed by cubes and other 70 epics, and they don't want that to be a thing. So the new loop will have efficiencies to make leveling up the Vengeance faster, which may help it break the power curve a little further here. If people can get their Vengeance scaled up more quickly, then perhaps they will no longer be dying to these Borg cubes and G6 epics. They may also have to just, add some additional research or something, or, pump up the power levels a little bit through an errata, if you will, or a modification. Give it some additional skilling. I don't know. A fleet commander who adds specifically to the Vengeance, like, hey, just give Khan a new ability or something. I don't know. But they recognize that this did not live up to the dollar value that they assigned to it, and whales are very unhappy, and they plan on making sure that they do something to make it better. Now here's the bummer news. Future of shipyard management and scrapping. They had promised in the roadmap that they would be releasing G5 scrapping. They are basically telling us that that is not going to happen now. I think DJ had hinted at that previously a month or two ago, but we were all like, well, it's on the roadmap, so until we hear something official, we're still going to keep our fingers crossed. Effectively, they looked at the numbers and realized that the whole way that G4 scraps and into G5 and allows people to upgrade stuff, because of all the efficiencies they've added to the game, people can level up G4 ships very quickly, or in some cases, through the jellyfish loop, you end up getting more materials back than you actually spent. So then you can just keep infinitely leveling up jellyfish, as well as getting materials that'll help you upgrade an Enterprise A, which you can then scrap to get materials for G5 upgrading. And they don't like that. They don't think that wasn't how it was. They ever thought that this mechanic was going to work, and they didn't really have long-term checks and balances in place for that system. So before they just roll out G5 scrapping and let players just infinitely grind their way through G6 upgrading, either too expeditiously or too cheaply, they really want to take some extra time and look at the values there and come up with a better idea of how they can adjust those payouts for sourcing materials and that kind of stuff. So that way G6 doesn't become, like I said, too cheap or too easy to get through. So they were also thinking about just having an option where you could just get rid of a ship but not get any materials just to clean out the space in your shipyard hangar. And they decided that that would be a bad idea too, because players would absolutely hate that. They're 100% correct about that. If players are getting rid of something that they've invested materials and time into, they want something back for it. So at least, hey, good on you recognizing that that was going to blow up in your face and not putting that out there too. And then they're working on performance and stability. We just rolled out Unity 6 after extensive testing. Extensive testing. So they knew for weeks or months that they were rolling out this Unity 6 update and didn't say anything about it until 3 or 4 days after they did the update. This is a big F in communication by not properly preparing your players and allowing them the time to make any adjustments they might need to their devices or operating systems to handle the new Unity 6 version compared to the Unity 2021 that the game had been running on. While it probably didn't affect most of the players of the game, I have definitely heard from a small percentage of people that had issues logging into the game after the update or were just unable to do it altogether because their device couldn't handle the new Unity 6. Had you given these people time, they could have, made the necessary adjustments to their devices, upgraded their operating system, or upgraded their old phone that they've been using for 10 years. So that way they make sure that they weren't going to get locked out of their game and their account. This is disappointing. This is a failure. This is a huge failure. Do better. And then we got to charting the course. Well, we got the 60th anniversary of Star Trek coming up next year in September of 2026. And they hope that the game is still running then and they can do something to really, honor that legacy. And they hope to be continuing to do more of these monthly updates with the GM Conor. And we'll see how those go from time to time. Then we move into the next day where we get our prototype tech video. I've muted the sound so you don't have to listen to Hammy explaining this stuff. Is it just me or does Hammy look very uncomfortable while he's doing this? I don't know. Face, posture, something about it just reads as I feel very uncomfortable sitting here in front of this camera talking about this stuff right now. All right. But here's the new detail, right? Here's our new mechanic this month, the aggregation loop. So we're starting here. You will build a new building called the Recon Lotus. You're going to develop the hypothermic stabilizer and unlock advanced research. What's the Finicus system? Let's go find and see if that's here. Where's the Finicus system? He looks like one of your psych patients. Is the Finicus system in the game yet? System lookup. No, it is not in the game yet. So it'll be a new system that they're adding. Okay, good to know. So we don't know where this exactly area will be, But you will go kill the new hostiles, you will collect loot, and you will exchange them in the refinery. So nothing new there. New hostile, kill it, new refinery. Now, based on the graphic, we can see that there are 4 different colors of currencies. Because, God damn it. If there's one thing Star Trek Fleet Command players absolutely love having every new arc and every new loop, it's multiple currencies to chase down and source. Fantastic. Fantastic. Initial thoughts and theories are that this will possibly work like silent hostiles and like transigen, whereas different grade and different levels of hostiles will, award the different values of currency. So your G3 players might be working on the commons and your G4 players working on the uncommons or whatever. And those currencies might be sort of grade specific, in which case punching down is not going to be beneficial to you because you're going to get currency you can't use, which was one of the biggest complaints about the transigen loop that was released. However, since these loops are designed and created and programmed months in advance, this would have already been closing in on the finish line of development by the time they got that feedback, and it might have just been too late for them to pivot. So we might have to suffer through another one of these terribly designed mechanics where we have to, endlessly chase multiple currencies for refinery turn-ins. But for doing those refinery turn-ins, you will get access to new prototype tech, which is what we'll look at here in a second. These are not a new slot. We're not getting a third slot for every ship. These prototype techs go into the same slot as your existing forbidden tech. They are just upgraded versions, kind of hybrid versions, combo versions. As we look at some of them, it's like, oh, well, it takes the best part of one or two, or possibly multiple regular forbidden techs, and it kind of just combines them together. Like we're taking a bit of something from, take this from the quantum slipstream, take this from this other artifact, take this from this other artifact, take the loot bonus from the agony booth and the warp range bonus from this thing and put them all together and make one new super tech that'll just be really awesome for players to slot onto their best ship, and it can not have to worry about sourcing 3 or 4 other things or only getting part of a benefit. Basically, it's a combo version of something. And you'll have some sourcing through here. I'm sure these will also probably some of them be paywalled. Maybe the upgrade materials will be sourceable through here or whatever the case is. But yeah, they're definitely going to find a way to monetize this. So you will also get research material. There'll be a new research tree. It will give combat advantages over the new hostiles, as well as the augment exiles, as well as wave defense hostiles. There will also be PvP buffs, improved forbidden tech, and the USS Vengeance cost efficiency will all be part of this new little tree here. So doing this loop will hopefully make some of your older loops, whether it's your wave defenses or your augments, just easier to kill, as well as the new loop itself will be easier to kill to help source some of this stuff. So again, this will be another one of those loops where you'll struggle for the first few weeks, maybe, depending on where you're at in your ops level bracket. And then by like month 2, things will start to get easier as you start to unlock some of this content and develop some of this content. And by month 3 or 4, it kind of becomes just another loop that you just, mindlessly do into the background. I'm sure there'll be a new ship released in October that'll also help with making some of this content easier to do, but we'll worry about that in next month. So here we get a sneak preview of some of these new prototypes here. You'll see them that they're labeled with a pro to kind of distinguish them. They all appear to be epic so far. Oh wait, that one's not. That's a rare. So they all have different abilities. But you can see here, like the prototype, the counterplay device. This is an epic one. Increasing your apex barrier on an explorer. Doesn't work when Tal's on the bridge, right? Giving your Explorer more Apex Shred against other players. Oh, so this is also against players. Decreases their shield mitigation every round. So when you're an Explorer, you're fighting another player. Instead of their shields stopping 80% of the damage like they normally do, you're just going to stop less. And how you level this up, probably only going to go up to 5 or 10% because it's cumulative. So, it should make PvP fights quicker if their shields are stopping less. And then you also have something here that's boosting your isolytic defense. And I'm sure that there are one of these for each class of ship because this is just all Explorer based. So that makes sense. They're going to put those out there for multiple ships. He's going to flip here in a second. We also get the Pro Harvester, aptly named. This looks like a mining based one. Max cargo increase for survey ships, protected cargo increase for survey ships, mining speed increase, and giving you a bonus to crystal gas and ore materials that you mine with a survey there. So again, this should make mining go faster. Not that it really goes terribly slow, but hey, anything that makes you have to spend less time doing it. Hopefully that'll increase node turnover a little bit, or people go in zero node where you can then legally get rid of them to go get a node for yourself. This should be somewhat helpful in sort of just keeping that process moving. See if we can get any other sneak previews in here. Please bear in mind that all of this stuff is taken from a test environment and some of this stuff is subject to change. Right. So you've got common, uncommon, loot mechanics, different researches. So a whole new refinery tab. It's going to have a whole bunch of other stuff in it. Uncommon, common dusts. Kind of getting a little sneak preview here about the different types of techs. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them that we're going to be starting with. All right, what do we got here? This is the interceptor based one. So again, you're boosting your barrier, you're boosting your apex shred, and then you're lowering their shield mitigation. And for the last one here, your critical damage is basically going up. You're boosting your critical damage on that one. So again, trying to just make PvP fights a little bit faster. The Explorer one we already looked at. Here's the Battleship one. Kind of boosting the same stuff again and again. Again, here's your isolytic damage that's going up. So one of them gets an isolytic defense, one gets a critical hit, one gets isolytic damage bonus. Again, I guess just trying to put in some semblance of balance into PvP. And then we have some more generic utility techs. So here we have the Orion Syndicate Bomb, which is a rare one, which is good because it should be quicker to unlock and faster to upgrade. You're getting a warp range boost, more ship XP earned from combat, more FKR reputation from defeating hostiles, and a loot bonus when killing non-armada hostiles. So this is again what I was talking about earlier, where we're combining a number of the things from other pieces. Like the Agony booth has the FKR rep, and one of the other one, like the can't think of it right now, but there's at least 1 or 2 other techs that also boost. Warp range is on, I think, the Quantum Slipstream, and the loot bonus is on one of the other techs. So this is kind of a hybrid where it's just combining the best features of some of the previous techs. We're putting them all there together. I don't know if the values will be as high as what those other ones, or the Agamus. Yeah. I'm not sure if the values will be just as high as what the other ones get to. But the fact that you're taking it in smaller, all in one tech instead of having it scattered, even if the values are a little bit lower, you might still come out further ahead because you're getting more XP, more rep, and more loot. And you can get to further systems to hit better targets. So hopefully this will kind of change that around a little bit. It does take a new material to upgrade, so that'll be the thing there. You'll have to do the new loop and the new mechanic, not only possibly to unlock them, if any of them are available free to play and they're not all paywalled, but you'll have to engage in the new loop to get the upgrade materials. They are not linked to Q trials is also another thing here. It's just a straight 100% guaranteed success rate. It just levels up. You have the materials, you spend the materials, much like the Chaos tech, they just upgrade. These prototype techs are not linked at all to your Q trials, although Q will still come up and tell you you've been successful, which feels a little unnecessary. Just upgrade the damn thing. I don't need the extra graphic. Hammy was apparently cold that day. Yep, I did it. I said it. Sorry, buddy. I said it. So there's the harvester again, which we looked at already. So there's 5 new techs. So you've got the 3 PvP based ones we looked at. You've got the harvester to boost mining ships, and then you've got the utility PvE one. And that's what we're starting with this month. It'll be these 5. I would have to guess and imagine, knowing them how I have, the 3 PvP ones will be paywalled, that you'll have to pay $100 to unlock them. And these other 2 will probably have grindable paths. Through the refinery, you'll probably be able to cash in some type of currency to slowly start acquiring free to play the utility based one and the mining based one. They'll probably both also be for sale if you wanted to skip the process and get them now. And I would think the epics will be, $100, and maybe the rare one will only be $50. But that would be my guess. Is these 3 are going to be paywalled completely because they're PvP based, and that's where all the money comes from. And then these will have a more of a grindable path, but maybe they'll all be grindable over time. Erwin thinks you're not seeing it. Do you think there's going to be a fail chance? No, it's right there in the upgrade. Let's go back. When he did the upgrade, where was it? Before he was cold. Go just back a second right there. Upgrade guaranteed percentage. Level up. This upgrade has a guaranteed 100% success chance. And this is level 1, tier 1. This is much just like with Chaos Tech. There is no fail rate. It is 100% guaranteed. So you won't have to worry about failing on that stuff. It's just going to happen. So that's a good win. We like that. Ultra agrees. If you have the materials, it should just upgrade and be successful. We absolutely like that. No idea what's going on here, but I think that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up. Good job. Hammy, you're going to get a little more comfortable with these things, hopefully, the more you do them. So we'll keep looking forward to that in the future. So we like that. That's a benefit. The new techs feel like they're going to be beneficial. And obviously, again, if you don't necessarily have to switch them around because one's more of a universal one. So you're not like, oh, I need the warp range. Let me change my tech so I can get out here. Or, oh, I need to go kill FKR now. Let me change my tech so I can get my rep up. Having a hybrid combo version should help alleviate the ability to move Forbidden Tech around because Chaos Techs are fairly cheap to move in and out of slots. Forbidden Tech is not. And until we get something that gives us an efficiency to make that process cheaper, I feel like players are really going to be excited about having this new combo stuff. So there we go. Now, I don't know how exciting this makes us going into September with the ARC launching on Tuesday. By the way, ARC Fall Monday night, Warp Drive 5, Major Samo is hosting. Let's throw the graphic up here. Where'd that go? Bam. Let's do this one. Hopefully we will see you all Monday night tuning in. Maybe we'll have some more content spoilers released tomorrow. Major Samo, Warp Drive 5. Who knows what other guests may be stopping by, but we'll all be there, at least in the beginning, to talk about these things. and anything else that might happen to pop up tomorrow, either on the front page or behind the scenes that we can learn and we can share with all of you fine folks. So make sure you are stopping by to hang out and chat with us for a bit.